Well, hello there. Okay, part 2 of the early one. The early one ramble. This one will not as much because there's only little bits here to add. He's done these 2 interviews, old Philip, with the Sun and the BBC. The BBC guy especially being a proper, well, hopefully being an investigative journalist, or maybe he's not, I don't know. I don't really know him that well. Had some questions that they could have asked. Some they could have put to him that they may have asked. It's a 45-minute interview, I've not seen it, but I'm sure they haven't. And these are the things that I would have liked to have asked. You see, Schofield mentioned that the show was nowhere near as bad as people are saying it was. There's people outside that have got it in for him. They've really got it in for him, and they're sticking the knife in, they're sticking the boot in, and that's the reason for the toxicity, and that it's all over social media and everywhere else, because people on the outside are throwing stones from outside and trying to harm the reputation of the show, and himself even more than it needs to be harmed, and others within the show. But these are the things that I can't believe they never asked. I mean, firstly, Eamon Holmes has said the show was absolutely terrible and absolutely toxic, and loads of people didn't like Schofield on the show, backstage on the show, and also on Loose Women. There's one Loose Woman out of 10 or 15 that liked him. Now, he'll know this, he'll have heard this, whatever he says, he'll have heard all this, or his people, because I still have some people, will have told him this. We know for a long time Eamon Holmes hasn't liked him. We know that, that's a given. That's 100%. And we know Eamon Holmes lost his job and was booted out unceremoniously. But for all there was a time that I thought it was a personal vendetta by Eamon against him, and because the way he'd been treated because he lost his job, I do think, or I have grown to think over the last week or so when we've heard Eamon on GB News, that it is more than that. That there is a lot to be said for Schofield's personality backstage, and or lack of personality, and his nastiness towards some people, his frostiness, the way he's treated some people, and the fact that he just isn't liked by many, many people. So many people have said it, it can't not be true. Even though Philip's saying they're all throwing stones from outside and it was great on there. Why has either the Sun, the lady from the Sun, or the guy at BBC not asked him about the comments Eamon Holmes has made and people like him? Dan Wooten's also made the same kind of comments. Why has he not asked him specifically about those 2 people and brought up some of the comments that they've made to give Schofield a chance to answer them? But there's more than that. I mean, two guys lost their jobs, Dr. Raj and Wooten, because they brought up the fact that they believed he was having an affair. Now, Schofield would have known they've lost their jobs. He would have known they've lost their jobs because of the questions they've asked, because no doubt Earl Frizzell or whoever it might be will have told him about it. He might have even had a part to play in them losing the jobs, because he might have said, look, I don't like the idea of them talking behind me to you, I want them gone. He may well have done that. It never got mentioned. The boy that he was seeing, because I say boy because he was a boy, he was seeing him now, he says he wasn't a boyfriend, then later in the interview he says it was a boyfriend, then he says they're not together anymore, but he said he's really upset for him and how he's been hurt throughout it all and whatever else. The boy got moved from the show he loved to Loose Women. Again, Schofield was surely behind that. If he thinks that much of him, why would he move him out? If Schofield wasn't behind that and the bosses did it, they obviously only did it because they know there was no smoke without fire. That hasn't really been addressed in the interview today. Again, it's been covered over, brushed over, whatever it may be. How did he feel about the boy being moved from his show to Loose Women, number 1? How did he feel, number 2, that it came out the other day that there was already a guy at Loose Women doing the job that this boy was moved over to do, and he got bulleted, he lost his job. They had to dump him to give Schofield's lover a job on another show. How does he feel about that? And as I say, then why not ask him about all these accusations that Eamon Holmes has made? You know, if he says he was great with people and there was a great environment at the show, I'd have hit him with, well, Eamon Holmes says out of 12 or 13 women, not 15 women on Loose Women, one of them likes you, nobody else does. Surely, Philip, that's got to say something about your character and your demeanour and the way you are with people. Why not ask any of those questions? All it was Philip Schofield at the end of his tether feeling so sorry to everybody and the dog, and I mean everybody and the dog, apologising profusely, but, oh, let's feel sorry for me, it's awful. I came up for the boy, but my life's terrible, my life's this, my life's that. Again, as I said earlier, with the Alison Hammond thing, if you'd have been truthful about this, Philip, in the early days of it, it would have never come to here now. Never. You may still have kept your job. ITV wouldn't have been under investigation. Yeah, I don't know. Lots of questions should have been asked. He's had 2 interviewers today with him, and they've just let him talk, and they've not really asked him any pertinent questions. There's much more they could have and should have done. Much more.